my little comment. But they are competitive forces in the world, like the social networking site and also competing with this LMS. Because some people have been saying that why we need to use the discussion forum in certain LMS. One can use Yahoo and Google or Facebook. But when I think in terms of culture, especially in Hong Kong and China, when they come up to speak in public, people will try to be more careful. When they are using the Facebook, they may be more casual, so using Chinglish, for example. But when they come to the LMS system, probably they will be refrained from typing too much if they think that their language is a problem. So the kind of the LMS serve more, I would say, as a forum, or the teacher is still leading the discussion or leading the direction to go. For students, of course, one can say that they can do self-learning because there are all this material in the web. However, students also need guidance. That's why the university still have a place. Otherwise, people can just use the web to study. And actually, the courseware, like the MIT, provide all the courseware on the web. But it's actually very tough to follow those courseware without any guidance. So the university still have a place in the world. And especially in Hong Kong, why people will still come to university? Because they are very small. So unless they are on Facebook and otherwise, when they really want to mix with a human, well, if they can enter university, so they have come to the university and they are in the school, they go to the school and the other small communities. So all this will still continue while the cyber world may be expanding. But in physical life, one still have to make, for example, eating and making friends. So of course, the world is changing, and I don't have the answer which way will ultimately it will be. However, well, I think the usual life will still go on with this mix of this cyber world happening around
us. This is a question particularly for members of the panel that have been in their institutions long enough to see things evolve over periods of years. During your time, have you seen that technology has changed the skills for which students are assessed?
All right, yeah, I guess I'll have a go. Yes, but I don't think it's the technology that has done the skills that are being assessed have changed, but I don't think it's the technology that's done the change. I think one of the things, we were talking about strategy, and I think one of the things that in Chinese U that's been useful has been the sort of ability to have a lot more focused discussions about teaching and learning with departments. That's been driven partly by a QA agenda. And I think actually the embedding of graduate attributes that exist in university strategic plans and actually saying to departments, look, you're really meant to actually think about them and not just leave them as fluffy statements. I think there's been a big change in assessment at Chinese U. I think there's much more concern about communication skills, presentation skills, professional skills in a range of ways. I think probably the same concern about knowledge. And now our programs are tending to write their program level outcomes as a result of the OBA stuff in terms of knowledge, skills and values, attitudes. And so you can begin to see a bit of a mapping across. Now, then when you begin to talk about assessment, I think there really is, because people are saying, well, we've got these outcomes, we have to think about what evidence we get from them. How technology has helped that is a bit of a moot point, to be honest. I don't know that it's had a great impact at Chinese U. I think maybe because we're the university with the low use of forums at the moment. Where the forums have become rich has been when it's required as part of assessment. And then I think you get some really good stuff. My guess is that, well, we do use SMS for language teaching and so on. So we've got all these nice projects around, but they're not mainstream. So yes, we've got lots of examples which we can trot out for media conferences, but about how to use technology that in a really nice way for assessment. We do our language assessment now by e-assessment, so large-scale language testing. I don't think it's mainstream yet. However, I think the next phase will be where the technology comes into the assessment strategy.
I've been here I'm on my 15th year. And I came from a North American context. When I arrived here, I think it's important to understand what we're talking about in terms of assessment. When I arrived here, one of the things that blew my mind, having not been directly educated here at that time, was that students entered a program of study and the timetable was completely controlled by their program of study. And so there was no credit-based system. You could have them for 4 hours one day and 8 the next, and you could have them come in on Saturday. You had complete control of the students' time once they joined your program, which was right the first day of year one. You had your English language teachers coming in. This gave you a familiarity with the students. So we have moved from that kind of a program-based model to credit-based, larger numbers, broader type of education. So if we keep that trend in mind over the years, we have less affiliation directly with students so that we feel as a program leader or a teacher of students in a particular program area that we're familiar with them and can competently assess them through multiple kinds of contact with them across 3 years of study or longer. That's gone, that personalization and familiarity and control. At the same time that what we're being asked to assess becomes broader, more demanding, more detailed. Creativity, language competency in Mandarin and English and written Cantonese or whatever it is. And so I think the role of technology is in, again, the word challenge, dealing with those challenges as they cross. Maybe technology can sometimes help us address it suitably and effectively and efficiently.